our jam. This is our jam. Let me break it down right quick for my haters, my dictators and bad raiders. Since you never seem to get it right no more, they right no more. Kick back the beat and watch your back and perpetrators. Going strong in my Range Rover. I got the blackjack juice and the racks off the roof and you see the SUV.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this little AR pistol that you guys see right here in front of me and that you've seen obviously throughout the intro. This is the Caracal AR-15 A2 300 Blackout AR-15 pistol. So it is a pistol, it is not an SBR for those of you guys that are new. The reason for that is that it has a barrel that's less than 16 inches. However, this is not a stock. This is the SB Tactical SB-A3 adjustable brace, which is excellent. We'll touch on that a little bit more here in just a second, but it's a very short, very compact system overall. We have just a 7.5-inch barrel, and what's crazy about the barrel, at least when I first checked it out, was the twist rate. So I didn't know this before I got this pistol in for review. I did request this from Caracal, I should point that out. It's a T&E, so it has to go back, unfortunately, but it has a 1 in 5 twist rate. You didn't mishear what I just said. It has a 1 in 5 twist rate. So most 300 Blackout barrels are going to be somewhere in the 1 in 7, 1 to 8. Every now and then you see a 1 in 9 twist rate, but that is very, very quick. Just kind of thinking about it, one would think that that would be optimized for subsonic loads. However, it may or may not shoot supersonic loads well. We're about to see that here in just a second when we step outside and check out the accuracy, but I was very intrigued by that, and that's definitely something I wanted to test out. So let's go check it out and see how it did accuracy-wise. Now we're going to see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this little pistol here. We have a few different loads, couple supersonic and a subsonic load as well. A lot of people with the twist rate of this barrel and the length of this barrel think that it's optimized for subsonics. I tend to be one of those people. However, the majority of the ammo that we've put through it to date has been 150 grain Fiocchi. Honestly, ringing steel out to about 200-300 yards with it. I saw some inconsistencies, but we didn't really fire any groups. So today we are going to do that and see how it does. So the first load up that we have here is some Guerrilla ammunition. This is a 220 grain subsonic load, of course, with the Sierra Match King bullet in there. Scope on the rifle is the primary arms 1-6 with the Griffin Mill reticle, and the can out there on the end is the Dead Air Sandman S. Everything else is factory. So we'll see how it does. We have the target downrange at 100 yards. Wind today is not really much of a factor, although I threw on a lavalier microphone just in case it pops up here. CTK Precision Rest, super tactical sock filled with sand as a rear bag, and we'll get to it and see how it does. All right, let me reload that because that was so much lower than my point of aim. I'm going to have to adjust my point of aim. Again, it's zeroed for supersonic ammo, guys. So I'm not even sure if that would have shown up the way we have the target frame down there on camera. So at this distance, that's about 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 7 inches below where it's zeroed. Again, it's zeroed with 150 grain Fiocchi ammo supersonics. So that's a significant decrease in point of impact. From here, that group actually looks pretty good still. A little bit lower than I would like, but such is the nature of using wildly different weight projectiles. So next up, why don't we fire some Hornady American Gunner 300 Blackout, of course, 125 grain hollow point ammo. So again, this is going to be super. Should be pretty close to where we got it zeroed, but we'll find out. Interesting, that stuff's about 2.5, 3 inches higher than the Fiocchi point of impact. Again, that's just practice Fiocchi stuff I'm talking about, but kind of interesting nonetheless. Next up, we have some 110 grain Guerrilla Lehigh Defense controlled Chaos ammo. This stuff is nasty. If you guys haven't seen my Guerrilla ammunition factory tour, I did a gel test with this stuff, and it is a hog's worst nightmare. Or deer, I suppose, for that matter. Let's go check it out. First up, we had that subsonic stuff there from Gorilla, and looking at it at first, looks like it's right about an inch, but then I'm looking at these impact marks, and I think one of those is actually from the group we shot, assuming it is largest point to largest point there is just at, yep, right at 1.5 inches on that one. And then we came up here with the Hornady American Gunner. That stuff there, center to center, right at 2 1/8 inches. Then we had the 110 grain Control Chaos stuff, and that's actually a pretty decent group too. Right there, we're about 1 3/4 inches. I guess now is a good time, a time as any to address the 300 blackout accuracy. I don't want to say issue because it's not really a thing, but I want to make people aware of my experience with 300 blackout. I've probably tested in terms of different barrels in 300 blackout at this point 15 or 20 here running the channel. Overall, compared to 5.56, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, etc., it's simply, in my opinion, my experience, is not as accurate as those calibers. Consistently, what we can see out of a good 300 blackout barrel, in my opinion, is a 1.5 to 2 MOA shooter. This one here certainly seems to be within that for sure from what we're seeing. But I just want to point that out. A lot of people, I look around on the internet and people are saying that their 300 blackout barrels are sub MOA all day. Maybe. It's possible. And it's also possible that you get one, sub MOA group and the next one you shoot with the same load. Might not be. I would say, again, consistently, if I'm talking about looking for what I look for out of a 300 blackout barrel, looking for about 1.5 to 2 MOA, and I'd be happy with that. And some guys say, oh, it's just unacceptable. I mean, if you look around the internet, you'll see, and not just the internet, but just ask folks at trade shows and stuff like that, there are companies that simply won't make 300 blackout rifles because of the accuracy that I just mentioned. So it's not just my opinion, there's other folks that have had similar experiences. Either way, from a practical standpoint for hunting, self-defense, etc., in my opinion, any of those groups are perfectly fine because in the real world, rarely do you have ideal conditions like a rest, low wind, good light, etc. Anyway, let's move on with the review. Before we get into all the details on the pistol, I just want to thank the sponsor of today's video. It's Sportsman's Guide. For those of you guys that don't know, they offer viewers here on the channel a discount code, and it's Guns and Gear that will get you $20 off orders of $100 or more. I believe right now they also have their free trial membership as well if you guys want to get in there and check it out and see what's going on over there. But they help the channel out, produce these videos by the camera, the microphone, all that stuff that goes into making these, and they give you guys discount codes, so it's kind of a win-win. Either way, we'll get on with all the details of the pistol. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried that some of those supersonic loads were gonna keyhole. They didn't, so that certainly is a good thing. But overall, it did well in terms of accuracy, as I just said. We'll go over the details of it here, starting at the end and kind of working our way back, because there's some cool stuff in this pistol, and same with Caracal's rifles as well. Out front, of course, we have an A2 flash hider. It is threaded though, 5/8, just like most 30 cal barrels, so you can run a suppressor if you want to. I ran the Dead Air Sandman S throughout the majority of this video. I should mention that we had a grand total of 0 malfunctions of any kind, running either supers or subs, whether it was suppressed or not suppressed. So it's eaten everything that we fed it so far, which was about 900 rounds, 300 blackout. So can't complain about that. Barrel itself has a relatively heavy profile. It's pretty thick back here, and then of course we have a 0.75 inch gas block. I should note the gas block is not dimpled from what I can see when I pulled it out. However, there is a very high temp thread locker on the screws there, so unlikely to move. I would like to see them dimple it in the future if Caracal's watching this video. Just a suggestion there for you. It makes it a little bit more robust. So here on the handguard, we have a 6-inch handguard. And this thing has a lot of cool features going on with it. First off, we have quick detach swivel points there on the 3 and 9 o'clock position. We have, of course, 1913 rails up top. M-lock positions at the 6, 3, and 9 o'clock position. We have these little vent holes cut in the offset positions to reduce weight and, of course, help vent heat. Down here on the bottom, we have these helicoils that you guys can see that screw into the barrel nut. That's cool. Helicoils, for those that don't know, are very durable, very rugged, and definitely a sort of a step up in durability over traditional just screwing into aluminum like most companies will do. It has a steel barrel nut on there, I should say, and those helicoils screws go into that. The barrel nut itself is actually shaped to interface with this handguard, so the handguard kind of slips over it, and there's really no way it can move right or left with that configuration. However, just to ensure there's no way it can move right or left or forward or aft, it also has this piece here which is milled into the upper receivers as part of the handguard and then screwed into place with high temp thread locker as well. So there's no way that handguard's moving. It's, as I said in the 816 video that I did, one of the more secure systems I've seen, and definitely give them credit for that, for thinking outside the box and sort of a way to improve the product. Speaking of improving the product, the barrel, like we said, 7.5 inches. It's made out of 4150 CMB steel. It is QPQ or nitrided, so that's going to give it very good surface hardness, corrosion resistance, and wear resistance. Now with 300 Blackout, it's not going as fast as 5.56, so generally speaking, you can expect a longer barrel life anyway. Some of the Caracal rifles overseas have chrome line barrels, but the ones made in the US have QPQ. And when I talked to the folks at Caracal about why they went with that, a lot of people would think that it was a cost issue. They said it wasn't at all. They did testing with both and found no difference at all in barrel life, and they liked a little bit, or rather they liked the corrosion resistance properties of the nitride better. So that's why they went with those here for these rifles, or pistols, I should say, that are made in the US. Continuing on back, the chamber of this barrel is different than what you're going to see on most AR-15s. In fact, I only know of one other company doing something similar. That would be H&K. So this barrel, as all Caracal barrels are, has a good bore obstruction rating, and it is over the beach capable. It's a NATO standard, where basically even if there was a rock, dirt, whatever stuck in the barrel itself, if you fired around, the rifle extractor will not shoot out the side of the rifle like what you guys have probably seen many times in many internet videos. The way they do that is they shape the chamber in such a way that basically when the bolt is in the locked in position, there's a piece of steel pressing on the extractor, not allowing it to come out like it typically would do without it. So there's no way it can blow out. Well, I shouldn't say there's no way. It's highly unlikely it would blow out, and their testing has verified that it does not blow out. So that way it's a little bit safer for the user. And then of course, if you need to clear that obstruction and you have a way to get your gun running, you can do so without having to throw a new bolt in there, obviously. So that is the advantage of it. It's a very durable system, and some of the treatment properties of the barrel go into that as well. Very cool. So it does ship with a Lancer 300 Blackout mag. I should put that out there. However, we have the PMag in here for video demonstrations. But yeah, we've used USGI stuff, Lancers, Magpuls, and had zero issues there to date. So good on them for that. The upper and lower receiver are made out of Forged 7075 T6 aluminum. The lower here has a little bit of a flare and a unique pattern to it. It is reinforced that way. You're going to add a little bit of weight, probably an ounce or so over a mil spec one, but it is unique. And I know some guys like to do the magwell grip. If you do, it'll give you a little texture there, so that's something to point out there. Through the magic of video editing, the pistol is now disassembled, and wanted to point out there, in addition to being a Forged 7075 T6 upper, it does have the T marks on top that are subdued. It has the dry film lubricant on the inside, and of course we have M4 feed ramps in there as well. It comes with a Strike Industries ambidextrous charging handle. It actually works off of, instead of having a traditional latch, it actually has these springs here, sort of like a lot of the actual early AR-15s did. The prototype ones that Stoner did, that's how it works. So it's ambidextrous in that regard. It also has a gas busting portion up here, which is nice, particularly on a 300 Blackout gun, because a lot of people are probably going to run this suppressed. So it comes with that out of the box, which is good. Bolt carrier group is traditional in terms of the way it looks. So we have a full auto carrier made out of 8620. We have good staking there on the keys, and the bolt itself is MP tested. It's 9310 material. All in all, see no issues with it, but it is nothing crazy looking, I guess you could say, in that regard. Now moving on to the lower receiver, we have some cool stuff going on. Once again, we have a Strike Industries accessory on there, which is our bolt catch and bolt release. So they're a little bit extended over the traditional AR-15 one. A lot of guys are gonna like that. It's a little touch there. We do have an ambidextrous selector lever, as you guys can see. I like them. I know there are people who don't, so whatever camp you're in there, I suppose that's the camp you're in. We have an H2 buffer in there, which is nice. Mag pull trigger guard, Caracal grip. This is the only part on the pistol, at least as of that I'm aware of, I should say, that is not made in the United States. It is made in the UAE, where their parent company in Caracal is. So trigger on there is excellent. It is a Hyperfire, if I didn't mention that during the accuracy portion, and it's very crisp, very clean, breaks right at 3.5 pounds. There's, again, nothing to complain about there. It does have a tensioning device in there, so should, 10,000 rounds after you get it, the upper and lower receiver tend to loosen up, you can tighten down that little tensioning device, and it will make your upper and lower receiver play non-existent. It will go away. We have our PWS Castle Nut ratchet system. I love that. I did an entire video on this system. It's excellent. It eliminates the need for staking. However, it's a super secure system. It also, of course, has a QD end plate in there. So to match that with the QD sling swivel points there on your handguard, it will mate up nicely. But just a very high quality piece of kit. Again, we have the SB Tactical Adjustable Length of Pull brace on a mil-spec 7075 T6 aluminum extension. This brace is awesome. I've done a couple videos of pistols with it. I actually don't have a dedicated video to it outside of the one on my B channel, but I'm just gonna tell you it's awesome. It's my favorite to date. As I'm recording this, the SBM4 is out. I don't have one to compare it to, but it's awesome. Super comfortable. It has a nice wide area here to distribute any sort of recoil force that you might get. We have, again, quick detach sling swivel points on there. You can, of course, wrap it through your arm if you want to fire it one-handed. That is what it was designed for, but you can also, at least as of the filming of this video, legally fire it from your shoulder. Occasionally, the ATF has ruled that, but you can adjust it to your length of pull. Very convenient, very awesome little system there. I am a fan for sure. A few other points to touch on before we close the review out. The pistol has been 100% reliable, like we mentioned, which is always good. That's priority number one for me, really, in any firearms test. Accuracy, you guys saw it, it speaks for itself. Again, if you're buying 300 Blackout with the intent that it's going to be a tack driver, I think you're barking up the wrong tree, in my opinion. I would look for something else, but if you're looking for, well, better yet, what would somebody want this particular setup for? My opinion, with the 7.5-inch barrel, you're giving up some velocity for sure in 300 Blackout. A lot of marketing literature out there will say that 300 Blackout loads are optimized for 9-inch barrels. I'm going to tell you I don't believe that at all, and in fact I'm going to do an entire video series on the best 300 Blackout barrel length, where we will test a bunch of velocities and all different lengths. Stay tuned for that, but I will tell you, you're giving up some velocity for sure with supersonic loads. Doesn't matter. Well, it depends on the rounds you select and the distance that you're engaging at. But in my opinion, this particular setup, again, with the twist rate and the barrel length that you see here, is a optimized option if you want to shoot rather supersonic loads. So in that case, I think it's excellent. The 7.5 inches is totally not an issue. The twist rate's great. It was one of the better groups that we saw out there. Shoots them accurately, shoots them reliably, either suppressed or not suppressed. So that's a good thing there. And another thing we always want to cover, talking about anything, but particularly firearms, is cost. Caracals are not the cheapest firearms out there, but from everything I've seen in my experience, plus what I've seen with a lot of viewers commenting back now, because I have one of the more popular Caracal rifle videos out there on the internet, I get a lot of comments on it. I've not heard a negative one yet in terms of reliability or accuracy or any of those sorts of things, so from the owners out there. So it's not inexpensive. Right now, I believe the MSRP on this pistol is right at $14.99, so it's not inexpensive. Again, it's a relatively expensive AR-15, but there is cool things that go into it that differentiate it from some of the other options out there. It's definitely not for everyone, but I think it's for some folks. Right now, Caracal has it over on their website. All of their distributors have it, so it is out there available if folks want to pick one up. Unfortunately, like I said, this is a T&E rifle or pistol, so it's going to have to go back. But I will probably be getting one because I do like it, and I think for a dedicated subsonic type of option, I think it's a winner for sure. You have the brace, so there's no worries about having to deal with the NFA laws. traveling across state lines, all of those sorts of things are a non-issue. Some states have pistol-only hunting. In that case, this certainly is going to do a lot better than, well, my opinion. I'm sure you guys can debate it down below in the comment section. It's going to do a lot better than like a 357 Magnum revolver, if you choose the right ammo, of course. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the pistol, anything like that, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing it. However, if you actually need an answer to a question, the best place to reach me is over at my Facebook page. I respond to all the questions and comments that I get over there. I should say questions in my inbox that I get over there. I get a lot. I get like 2,000 a day, so work with me. Sometimes it'll be a few days before I get back to you, but I will get back to you. So yeah, there is that. If you're not seeing 3 videos a week here and you are subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell down below. For some reason, YouTube is not showing all of my videos to my subscribers these days. Who knows why? If you're not subscribed and you like this type of video, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you really want to make sure you get all the videos, sign up for my email list over at mrgunsandgear.com or at my Facebook page under the sign up tab. I send 1 email out a week, so I'm not going to bombard you or anything like that, but it has all the week's videos and a few deals that we find along during the week as well. That's pretty much it. That's the end of my rant. Thanks for watching, guys. Truly appreciate it. I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video.